streaming and we are recording, and God help us.
All right. Well, welcome to the podcast. I'm Matt. That's James.
Hello.
We're going to make you mad, probably.
This is the 27th of these motherfuckers that we've done. 27. That's 27.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Roughly 27 weeks.
Yeah, we took maybe 2 weeks off, I think, maybe somewhere.
Yeah. But I'm impressed with us. I don't know what I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I find this very cathartic. I love having someone that mostly agrees with me to yell about stuff with.
Agreed. Yeah, I like being able to process this stuff, and it's impossible. I've tried to do TikTok lives a couple times, and I can't. My brain can't track that stuff because it's just chaos.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, plus, you get all those people that just want to do battles and stuff. At least that was my experience the one time
weird,
I did
bro.
live.
I've never experienced that. Well, it's been a hell of a week.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff just happened in the last couple days.
Yeah, it feels like it.
So I don't know. I don't know. Do you want to just go in order?
Sure. And I will
organize stuff.
No. I will make the point that I'm pretty sure, and I only started following him when he put out the Hins Hall video. Macklemore might be the only legit celebrity that I've ever followed.
Yeah.
And it was a few weeks ago that he was beginning to talk about not just the Palestinian issue, but issues like that. And he was very measured in it. And he was expressing his frustration with having to be very measured. And then he came out with this, which sold me. I'm
not measured. He said it all.
No, he couldn't have said it any better.
No, he literally said everything that we say. We just don't rap about it.
Mm-hmm. I try, but nobody listens. And yeah.
So I made a list. So we're talking about Macklemore's diss track, where he made it because Kendrick Lamar and Drake were dissing each other back and forth. First of all, I don't know how they do that. They each come out with a new song every day, just talking back and forth with each other. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're rich and you have a recording studio in your living room, you can do that.
Yep.
But anyway, Macklemore decided to come out with I'm calling it a diss track because he dissed a lot of things. So I made a list of some of the things. He invoked Ice Cube and Eazy-E with the "fuck the police."
Mm-hmm.
He called them actors and badges protecting property, which is exactly what they are. They're not there to protect you. They're there to protect the property of the rich fucks. He called out white supremacy several times, said the police system is built on white supremacy. He called it out a second time later. I don't remember what context it was. He mentioned Meta being bought. I don't know who they're bought by. I think they buy politicians. Called out Aipac and CUFI, the two big Israel-focused PACs that buy all our politicians. He criticized the TikTok ban, and I loved it.
Now, back up a second, because for whatever reason, I've never heard of CUFI. What is CUFI?
Citizens United for Israel, I think is what it stands for.
Oh, Christ fuck. Like we need another one of those.
It's not as big as AIPAC, but it does the same thing.
Jesus.
Another thing I learned, the music on his track is sampled from a super famous Lebanese singer.
Oh.
Which I'm sure was intentional.
Yeah. That's cool.
So that's kind of cool too. And apparently, from what I saw, everyone in that region would recognize that music immediately. It's a super popular song in that area.
Cool.
But I will point out, he mentioned in it that he says, if I was on a label, you could drop me right now. He doesn't have a record label, so there's nobody telling him what he can and can't say. And that's a big key.
Mm-hmm. I assume that's but I assume that's by
some other artists that don't have record label. Like this, doesn't Taylor Swift not have a record label? Isn't she her own thing?
Well, that's different though, isn't it? Because she's like this mega fucking billionaire and she can do that. I don't know if Macklemore is on the same level. That's what I'm saying. Is that him not being on a record label? Is that by his choice, or did he get booted off for some reason?
I don't know. I don't think he ever had one. I
Really?
think it was his choice, but I'm not certain.
Okay.
I mean, he had a couple hits, and then he was gone for a few years, and then he came out came out with this,
Mhm.
and now he's super popular all of a sudden. Although
Well,
I will say, I've seen the live version, and I don't like it. I feel like he's offbeat in the live version that people have been spreading on TikTok. I like the studio recording better.
um, I haven't seen the live version, but let's. This is an appropriate point to segue into. I don't know if it's in the outline or not, but the whole celebrity ban thing.
Yeah, so that's the last thing on the list. We can just cover it now. Let's do it.
Well, here's okay. Oh, I'm here to piss on everybody's parade again. Here's the thing about this. I understand the cathartic feeling of doing this, but the reality of it is that unless you are already following and supporting these celebrities, you going in and banning them does absolutely nothing. It doesn't negatively impact their algorithm. It doesn't negatively impact their visibility to other people. It's the people who, because I've seen people comment on other people's content talking about the celebrity ban, saying, no, no, leave our celebrities alone. We need entertainment. Fuck you, first of all. But it's the only way that this has any tangible effect is if the people who are sycophants to these celebrities unfollow them and block them. Us doing it, me going out and looking for Taylor Swift's account and saying, ha ha, I'm blocking you, doesn't do a fucking thing.
That's true. I mean, I haven't blocked anybody because I don't follow. In fact, half the people that are on the block list, I don't even know who they are. but
Yeah, true.
but
Me too.
um
Like the
but
whole chick that came out and did let them eat cake. I don't know who the
yeah,
fuck
never
she
heard of
is.
her before.
I don't know, have any idea who she is. I hate her with a vengeance.
That just shows how good the algorithm is on TikTok. It doesn't show us people like that because it knows we're not interested.
I guess. I don't know.
But yeah,
So
I had never heard of her, but she had 10 million followers or something. So a lot of people knew her. But
yeah,
yeah, but that's what sparked it was her comment, which first of all, I this has been going on for years. She's not the first one to have invoked Marie Antoinette with reverence. People
yeah,
do that. Like they don't know their history.
I know.
Like they don't really even know who she is. They just think, "Oh, she was." I don't know what they think, but I've seen it many times.
Well, I think what they think is it's a very childish thing. It is that any attention is good attention.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the whole Drake and Kendrick Lamar thing. This bothers me about that too, by the way, is that there's a big part of what this beef is that Drake is a fucking pedophile.
Yeah, well, Kendrick Lamar, as far as I know, it was his last track. Called him out on that pretty plainly.
But the thing is, we're talking about a pedophile here and we're dancing to it. What's going on? There's nobody seems to be angry about it. Everybody's like making a new fucking beat to it and dancing to it and making TikToks of them smiling and laughing while talking about Drake as a pedophile. Nobody doesn't feel to me like anybody's angry about it. It's fucking gross.
True. I mean, oh, I'm angry about it. I'm still angry about Jerry Seinfeld. In fact, want to talk about him?
Oh God.
He attacked woke culture. Said you can't be funny anymore because of woke culture. I don't know what the
Oh,
fuck
I
he's
didn't. I thought
talking
you were
about.
talking about just him being a pedophile, which is
Well, yeah, but that's the other thing. I mean, I remember it in the '90s. I remember thinking it was weird back then. I mean, I was a teenager when he was dating that teenager as a 38-year-old,
yeah. I didn't
and
know
it was in
about
the
that.
news back then. And
Yeah,
I
I
remember
didn't.
like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I
But
don't
no,
remember being
nothing like
aware of it at all.
I was like, isn't that a crime? So yeah,
So I don't know what again. I feel, and I'm going to use a word that's going to be absolutely awful, and I'll use this clip to make a TikTok out of it because then more people will hate me. But the whole ban celebrity thing feels like slacktivism.
well, it is like the easiest thing you can do is just click a block button on somebody,
But at
I
the end of
guess.
the day, it's doing nothing. I mean, that's
Well,
activism.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's mostly doing nothing, but there have been several of them that have lost, hundreds of thousands of followers over the last few days, have
Well,
come out with videos, kind of supporting, not wholeheartedly, but saying some things. I
yeah,
don't know.
I'm all on board with, even baby steps in dismantling this system, but there's somebody out there that's made a web page that shows like a live stat on Taylor Swift's follower count, and then right above it is a live stat on Macklemore's follower count, and his ticks up a little bit, and hers barely ticks down at all, and so
Yeah.
that's where I get frustrated, but because I want to see big changes, I want to see massive fucking things happening that are designed to erode the foundation of the system that has had us under its boot for generations. And I get frustrated when I see these little piddly things, but then I go back and I look at I look at the big picture of things that have happened even in the last 6 months. I'm One of the things that I'm most satisfied about is that however many months it's been since October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, 7 months. I had to count on my fingers because I'm fucked at math. Um, the fact that we still have the energy that we have, and it's even more energy today for the Palestinian issue, is encouraging to me because normally this would have petered out by now in terms of
Yeah.
societal rage and whatnot. But
And every time there's more pushback on, particularly like the students speaking out, every time they push back, more students join in. It's growing.
that
It's
was
still growing.
yeah. That was a big win for me because I've been waiting for especially the fact that school's about to get out for the summer. Are they going to continue this? Or are they going to go home and chill for the summer? I've been
Well,
waiting.
I'd assume school's already out. The ones around here are already done. Um,
Okay.
and they're still there. So I'd say they're going to keep going.
I hope so. And I also saw that other members, non-student, and they've been criticized for this. I've always said that when these students are assembling like this, they have family members. If my son was in college and protesting this, I'd be right there with him. So
Well, there
the parent,
was an article that I saw. It was an opinion piece, and I think it was on CNN, saying that the universities now have another group of people that are angry with them, and it's the parents of the students that are being arrested and
good.
expelled and stuff.
That's
Now,
exactly what I'm.
I doubt they're angry for the same reason their kids are angry. They're just angry their kid is getting their future tarnished or something by getting
No, that's legit.
suspended from school.
That's enough for me. That's
But at
enough
least
for
they're
me.
making noise.
Yes. That's okay. Uh, I feel better now. That won't last. I'll descend into the abyss shortly.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a movement and it's growing, and as long as it keeps growing, we could get where we want to be. Um, it's only if the crackdown becomes hard enough that people stop,
Hmm.
then we're doomed. You watch any of the Stormy Daniels testimony?
No, I don't
All
want
right,
to.
I I started reading a transcript, and it was like penthouse letters, man. And I was like, I do not want to be reading this shit. And for the first time since this trial began, I was happy there's not cameras in the courtroom because I wouldn't want to see that. And so honestly, I don't know much else what I don't know. She testified for like 3 days. And I don't know. The only thing I know is that she confirmed that she was paid by Michael Cohen, and I don't know, some legal experts wrote opinion pieces and said that her testimony was damning. But other people wrote that they felt that her testimony might be grounds for appeal because the judge let her say too much stuff that didn't really have anything to do with the heart of the case. I don't know.
Well, it'll be appealed no matter what. I mean,
Well,
he'll be
true.
yeah, he'll be found guilty, and he will appeal.
Right. They always appeal, but there's not always grounds to appeal, and their appeal just gets denied.
Mm.
So I don't know. I hope that she's not. grounds to have the appeal be accepted.
Well, and
But either way,
Michael Cohen is scheduled to be the witness on the stand on Monday, I guess. Michael Cohen exhausts me. He's a fucking lunatic.
yeah, he's on Midas. He has a show on the Midas Touch Network. I've watched it a few times. He yells a lot, like we do, and
well, I guess the prosecutors have been asking him to keep his fucking mouth shut and stop making TikToks
yeah.
before before he testifies. But no, he can't shut up. He's a lot like Trump in that regard. He can't shut his fucking mouth.
But how do you respect a guy? I mean, he worked for Trump for years
Mm-hmm.
and did this kind of stuff, like paying off people for years. How am I supposed to respect him?
Yeah, I don't think there are too many people who were in cahoots with Trump at any point in his life that had a moral epiphany that, oh my God, no, they got their ass in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's when they started speaking out.
Yeah. So yeah, screw Michael Cohen, but I hope he sinks Trump, but screw him other than that.
Yeah, this whole thing is probably gonna, I think there's a high likelihood that he's gonna wind up being found guilty, but I don't think anything's going to happen with it. I don't think the consequences are going to be in line with, because they haven't so far. I mean, his contempt, his violation of the gag order, nothing has ever come of it.
Now, the only thing I can think of, he won't be able to vote for himself because Florida doesn't allow felons to vote, right?
Right.
So
I guess that's true.
that'll be funny.
Yeah. But he'll still do it. He'll commit voter fraud, and and nothing will happen with that either, because he'll have immunity, because the Supreme Court's going to grant him immunity, right?
Yeah, I don't really have much faith in him. I don't know. I read a whole thing about what if the judge decides to incarcerate him for violating the gag order, and it was he wouldn't be able to just go to like the city jail or whatever. He'd have to go to a federal institution for his safety, and the Secret Service protection and all that bullshit. And they'd have to coordinate travel to get him to court every day, and it would all be difficult. And so that's why the judge doesn't want to do it. I'm like, all right, whatever.
I heard Rikers. I thought they were gonna. No, that was somebody else. One of his accountants got put in Rikers.
Yeah.
That was glorious. Rikers Island? Are you shitting me?
I don't know, man. I've seen some documentaries about that place. That seems like
Exactly.
seems like a good place for people like Trump, but I feel bad for a lot of the people that are in there for minor offenses.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah,
sounds awful.
these fucking corrupt politicians should all be in Rikers. Half the other people that have been in there for countless fucking years probably
Yeah.
should never have been there.
Yeah, and it sounds awful. Awful, awful. All right. I didn't take my stimulant this morning, so I did have 2 cups of coffee though. All right,
Sure.
so yesterday or the day before, Eileen Cannon, our favorite judge in Florida, that's presiding over the classified documents case, which you and I both know, if you or I did what Trump did, been in prison the entire time.
Yep.
But for some reason, he's not, and she just indefinitely postponed it suddenly because of issues with the classified documents, and there's protocol that needs to be worked out to protect the classified documents from being exposed in court. They need to set up a skiff and all that stuff. That's been true the entire fucking time.
That was
And
talked
you're
about
just
months ago. Yeah.
yeah, and you're just now like, oh, we have to postpone the trial indefinitely while we figure this out. Obviously, that was just bullshit. That was just kowtowing to Trump. But there's nothing you can do about it because you can't appeal. Well, Jack Smith can ask for her to be removed, and the appeals court could do that. I don't know if he's going to do that or not.
He should.
But other than that, there's nothing that can be done. You can't appeal it until the trial happens, and if she just wants to delay the trial forever, if it goes, it doesn't look like it has any chance of happening before the election at this point. And if he gets elected, it'll never happen. So. And him getting elected is very possible. Very possible.
That's crazy. That
It is crazy.
statement alone is insanity.
It is. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
There, I'm back in the abyss now.
Yes, it's November is going to be a dark time for sure.
Well, it kind of has to be because the Democratic Party was never going to give us a candidate that was going to be somebody to rally behind for based on their own virtues. The Democratic Party was never capable of giving us a candidate that we could feel good about. They had to,
Who could they give us to rally behind? I mean, let's say Biden doesn't make it to November. It's possible. He's fairly healthy, so it's unlikely, but it's possible. What if he doesn't make it to November? Who do we get? Do we get Kamala Harris? Nobody cares about her.
it's even worse. But no, that I mean you're right. The entire field of the Democratic Party is just fraught with worthless, disgusting, corrupt people. There was a thing. Was it Hakeem? Yeah, it was Hakeem Jeffries who was out there. He made a video like proclaiming his love for Israel and the special relationship of the United States and Israel. And it is the most cringe. I made a video about it yesterday or day before. It's the most cringe fucking thing I've seen. And they're all, and at one point, Hakeem Jeffries was a potential darling of the
Mm-hmm.
Democratic Party. And he probably still will be based on their criteria. But the rest of us now see him, even people who loved him from constituency, look at him now and are just like, oh God. And like Cory Booker is another one. Cory Booker was probably going to be a darling of the Democratic Party, and they've all been exposed as being absolute shitbags.
Yeah, there's a video of Booker telling some kids that asked him how he felt about a ceasefire. Will you call for a ceasefire? Is all they said. And his response was, you don't understand your history. You're pro terrorist. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's the new talking
Asking
point.
people to stop killing
Yeah,
civilians is pro terrorist?
yeah.
How does that even make sense? It makes no sense.
And fuck Hillary Clinton, by the way.
Yeah, but Cory Booker and Hillary Clinton both told us all we don't know our history. I would like to point out that the professors that are getting arrested at these college campuses,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them are history professors. You want to tell them they don't know their history?
Yeah.
What history is there? History doesn't matter. What's happening now is what we see.
Mm-hmm.
That's what angers us. It's
Yeah.
what we see happening now. And
Um, so we're talking about Israel in this situation. Let me ask you a question. When October 7th happened, and prior to October 7th, the population of the Gaza Strip was 2.4 million people. Okay, that's an agreed upon number. In the latest, like today, they're talking about the number of people that have been pushed into Rafa being 1.1 million. Where are the other 1.3 million Gazans? They're not in the north of Gaza. There aren't 1.3 million people still living north of Rafah. Where are those other 1.3 million people?
it's a good question. I don't know. I will say that there was another development this week. It's not on the outline, but there have been 3 Israeli whistleblowers that contacted the American media to tell a story. Did you hear about this?
No.
They said there is a concentration camp in Gaza operated by the Israeli military where they have a few thousand people that are in handcuffs and chained to the floor 24 hours a day. And because they're handcuffed for so long, doctors are having to amputate limbs and they're just being tortured every day. Now tell me again why I can't compare what Israel's doing to what the Germans did to the Jews in the 1940s. It's very similar. It's very similar.
It's more than very similar.
And
It
it was
is.
wrong when the Germans did it to the Jews, and it's wrong that the Israelis are doing it to the Palestinians now. Just as wrong.
And the Western world embraces Israel for doing it.
Most of it, except Ireland, man. I don't know if you follow Claire Daly, the Irish representative to the European Parliament.
I see her
She's on
stuff occasionally. Yeah.
she's on TikTok, but she's amazing. She's amazing. She says it like it is, like it really is, all the time. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they can vet that information from those three people. I don't see how the Western world doesn't wake up and actually stop Israel, not just stop giving them bombs, which Biden did, by the way, all of a sudden.
Well, that's a good. I mean, that's a good point too. Is that Biden made this decision, and there was no rationale given for the decision when it was initially made.
Right.
And now Biden has decided, well, I did this, and okay, this is how I'm going to frame it. And he is talking about leave it to get them to leave Rafa alone. But
Didn't
here's
work.
huh?
It didn't work.
No, and here's the
They're
thing,
in Rafa right now.
right? So he is now Biden has put himself in a very precarious position because he withheld this shipment, and he could have said it was a logistical issue, but no, he decided to pander and say it's about Rafa. So he's now in a position where he has made a decision to withhold these armaments. If he does anything other than continue to withhold all arms shipments, this is it's going to be so fucking obvious, because if he goes back and says, okay, we're resuming arms shipments to Israel, you're doing what? Imagine him saying that at this point. He has withheld arms shipments on the basis of, and I saw a headline this morning that Israel, the United States has, some legal experts in the United States have determined that Israel is in violation of international law through their use of U.S. weapons to commit genocide. And some high-ranking legal experts, not these aren't just random nutcases, but if the fact that Biden has withheld these things because he's now getting nervous about the U.S. supplying weapons to a country that's committing genocide, if at any point those weapons shipments start to flow again, explain that to me, because he's put himself in a very stuck position now, that if the momentum is going to continue toward Israel being prosecuted for war crimes, and the US is supplying the weapons for those war crimes, this if he at any point resumes these shipments, he should be already anyway indicted along with Netanyahu by the ICJ, ICC. But I think this decision, although it's performative in some ways, has sealed his fate with regard to Israel.
Yeah, well, he's tied himself to Netanyahu, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah, and he's trying
And
not to now. He's trying to distance himself, but it ain't going to work.
no, and this isn't on the outline either, but this week there were huge protests in Israel. Israelis protesting Netanyahu and his actions as well. So he's on the hot seat and he knows it. Netanyahu. So the problem is Netanyahu has no way out but forward. There's nothing he can do. If he stops, he gets removed and tried and convicted, probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing he can do is keep going to try to save himself. So he's just going to keep going with the genocide. And he can't stop. And we found out that Biden can't stop him either, because I think Biden thought that by withholding that shipment, it would slow down or prevent the invasion of Rafa. It didn't work. In
No, and
fact,
Netanyahu.
Netanyahu came straight out and said, "Okay, fine, we'll do it ourselves."
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So I don't know. We were saying over the past several episodes that we wanted Biden to do something to stop this, and maybe he really couldn't. Maybe he never could. He didn't have to enable it, but maybe he could never have stopped it.
I think if he had done back in the middle of October, because I remember at the very point where the U.S. announced after October 7th it was making arms shipments to Israel to aid in their destruction of Gaza. I remember seeing that, and my initial reaction was, excuse me, we're doing what? Not based on what Israel was intending to do, but based on the fact that Israel is one of the most well supplied and equipped and advanced militaries on the fucking planet. They shouldn't need anything from us. But apparently the United States decided that they needed something from us, But in
Well,
fact, they never did.
but they're well equipped with American stuff that they've acquired over the years. And if they're going to start using it, you start shooting bullets, you need to buy more bullets, basically.
True.
So that's what I think's happening. I mean, all their equipment is American made, all of it.
Well, then,
All of
but
it
then
is.
the initial point I was making that I didn't get to make yet was that if Biden had done then what he did today, it would have had it would have made a difference. The
It would
difference,
have, yes,
yeah,
because it would have shortened it. It
yeah,
would have
yeah, yeah,
shortened it at least.
yeah. I
Or
don't know.
Israel would have had to been more judicious in their use of weapons and maybe not just leveled the entire fucking Gaza Strip like they did.
I don't know. I think Biden has screwed himself in the decision he made to withhold that shipment because he can't backtrack on that now. He will have cemented himself into history as a fucking horrible person if he finds a basis to say, okay, we're going to resume shipments of weapons to Israel, based on fucking what?
Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Ugh, it's so depressing.
It
So
really
depressing.
is.
All right, so along those same lines, you see what Anthony Blinken said when asked about Israel committing war crimes? His response.
No.
This is a quote from Anthony Blinken, Secretary of State. Is Israel committing war crimes? That's a yes or no question. Anthony Blinken's response: it is reasonable to assess that defense articles have been used by Israeli forces since October 7th in instances inconsistent with its international humanitarian law obligations.
Wow.
What the fuck? I mean, yes, his answer is yes, they're committing war crimes. That's his answer. But he says it in such a way.
Yeah. Oh, that's a highly doctored statement that his little minions have crafted for him there.
Yeah, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
This is why I really think that at this point, the Biden administration and Biden's cronies are worried because look, a couple weeks ago, they were threatening the ICC and the ICJ against
Mm-hmm.
indicting Netanyahu and so forth. They realize that they're complicit in all this. And
Yeah, I
it
mean, their tone has changed this
yeah,
week. It has.
they are very worried.
I think Biden's starting to worry about the election too. He's starting to realize that he may not win.
He's just now worrying about that. I swear to
Yeah,
God.
well, he woke up, I guess. I don't know. It's bad it's very bad if Trump wins the election. It's very bad. There's no doubt about it.
But if Biden wins, all we're doing is kicking the can down the road.
Exactly. I don't know.
And we're never I said this before, I don't know that we'll ever get this energy again. This is a critical point for us in terms of seeing the selfish things that I want to see, which are sweeping changes. Here's what I would love to see. Here's a hypothetical. Neither one of those fuckers gets the requisite 270 electoral votes. You do that and Congress has to elect who the president is, you're going to see the fucking end of the electoral college at that point. That if that didn't if that happens, if that were to happen, the fucking every fucking human being who casted a vote should riot. Because at that point, your vote didn't mean shit.
Mm.
It doesn't matter if you voted third party Democrat or Republican. If we get a situation where neither of those two fucks or any third party that's running gets the requisite 270 and Congress has to put a president in place, that should be the end of this. That's what I'm hoping for. God.
Well, I've said it before, and I don't like saying it, and I'm not 100% sure how I actually feel about it, but if we do get a second Trump presidency, you talked about not having energy again. I think if we get a second Trump energy, there'll be more energy, more desire to change.
I think you're
And
probably right. I think you're probably right. Because if Biden
so
gets
I'm not
elected,
saying I really want that to happen, but I think if it does happen and things will get so much worse that all these people that are still on the sidelines
yeah,
may finally wake up and then we can actually get change.
yeah. Well,
Because
I
we
know
don't have a critical mass yet. It's too few. It's too few people. still, you know.
Well, the energy might begin to come from the people who are Biden sycophants. That if Trump gets elected, the first thing they're going to do is come after us. They're going to come
Right.
after us and say, "You did this," just like they did in fucking 2016 when that haggard fucking bitch Hillary was their nominee. But things are going to transmutate so badly that maybe those people who are Biden sycophants would finally look at the system that got us here and say, this needs to fucking go. I don't know.
Yeah. Did you see that there's a guy on TikTok that wrote a song about Hillary Clinton's Everybody's Fault But Mine. Did you ever see that?
No, I haven't
You
seen
got to look it up. It's funny.
it.
It's funny. He puts up clips or headlines of Hillary Clinton blaming Bernie Sanders, blaming or not Bernie Sanders, but blaming Bernie Bros for losing the election, blaming, this, that, and the other thing. And he sings Everybody's Fault But Mine. It's really catchy. It's kind of funny. But it's true. She's not president because she's out of touch. What she said this week, first of all, when she was on the Tonight Show, was she on the Tonight Show? When she was asked, what do you say to people who aren't happy that these are our two choices for candidates? And her response was, get over it.
Yeah.
And then now she says, these people don't know the history. It's too complicated. They don't understand.
I was waiting
What?
for her to talk about the greenhouses in Gaza again, because that fucking trope was marched around in the beginning of all this.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, she starts out by saying propaganda. She's calling out propaganda on TikTok. But she's the one spewing propaganda throughout that entire statement.
Yes. I saw that. Oh my God.
Hillary, that's why you're not president right there. That's why you're not president, because you're full of shit.
Yeah, and she's got minders and keepers who are shielding her from a lot of what you and I are steeped in with the societal erosion that's going on right now. So she's completely fucking unaware of it. It's the emperor's new clothes. Oh yes, Hillary, get out there and you know what's going on. You're the only one who knows how all this works. So tell the world how it works. And she's fucking all these fucking elite fucking, oh my God, this reminds me of that fucking video that I stitched a couple days ago with these fucking Congress people pleading poverty, talking about how,
Oh my God.
what the fuck is going on here?
What's funny about that video is you think they're about to tell you about how
I was waiting for the
everything's
punchline.
expensive and it's hard on everyone. But no, they're trying to justify their own raise because what the fuck?
Oh my God.
They literally say we need to pass a law so that there's a cost of living adjustment to our compensation.
Yeah.
What? Well, what about the rest of us? We don't get that. The minimum wage has been the same for 20 fucking years.
Go to opensecrets.org and look up those motherfuckers in that video. They're worth millions. They have net worth of millions. Liquidate your fucking assets and buy a sandwich, you motherfuckers.
Oh my
Holy
God.
fuck.
Yes, that video, it feels so much like satire.
Yeah.
But it isn't, and that's what's crazy. The fact that you can't tell satire anymore because the real world has gone so far off the rails is insane.
That's a horrible metric. Yep, that is a sign of where we are, that it's indistinguishable. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Brain worms. We all need
brain so worms. RFK, unprompted, just decides to tell everybody that he had a tapeworm in his brain that ate part of his brain and then died. And he also had mercury poisoning because he ate too much seafood, but he's better now. Why the fuck did he even say that? I don't understand.
I saw Hank Green talking about it this morning.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, and he's basically saying it's pretty much impossible.
He did say that, but I did see some doctors reply that said it is possible, that it's more common than Hank Green thought.
Tapeworms in the brain.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. But yeah, you're right. Why would he say this?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Did he feel like he needed to make an excuse for his stupid shit that he says? And if that's the case, you're not okay, buddy.
Why is he still getting support too? I don't understand.
Well, come on. He's getting support because of who else we've got to choose from. He's getting support because of his last name.
Yeah.
He's getting support because the conspiratorial fucking brainworm crowd latches onto this shit and the shit that he spews and claims to stand for as though it has some legitimacy. He's
So if everybody that's currently running is independents, Green Party, whatever, is on your ballot in November, who you voting for?
I'm voting Claudia and Karina.
Yeah.
I am. I'm not going to be complicit in any part of this other than the part that breaks the system. Voting for Biden does not break the system.
What I want Jill Stein and Cornel West to team up. So Cornel West was running as the Green Party candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Jill Stein has been the Green Party candidate in 2016 and 2020.
Mm-hmm.
But the Cornel West, because it's his party really. He was running as the Green Party candidate, so Jill Stein wasn't running. Then he, for some reason, decided to run as an independent, so Jill Stein stepped in to run as the Green Party candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they team up? President, vice president, make a team. I could vote for that probably.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm not like betrothed to the Socialist Party. I'm betrothed to the ideas and the principles of the Socialist Party, but I would definitely put my support behind any other candidate that has the most potential to break that 270 number.
Yeah, if I
And
see
I'm
it,
not saying get 270 because they're not going to do it, but they could keep both candidates from getting 270.
and we're both old enough to remember Ross Perot, who's the only third party candidate that really made noise.
First
He got a
person I
lot of
ever voted
votes.
for. First person. I'm not proud of it. He's the first person I ever voted for.
He didn't win any states, but he got a lot of votes.
19%.
So if I see someone generating that level of support that's tolerable, at least, you know, it's not going to be Biden, it's not going to be Trump, it's not going to be RFK Jr., but it could be maybe any of the other people that are out there still. If I see someone getting Ross Perot level support, I would highly consider voting for that just to push, keep that support up. Otherwise, because I live in a swing state, man, and I don't know. I don't want to vote for Biden, but like I said earlier, I'm torn. I part of me thinks that having Trump be a president again could be good. It'll be terrible, but it could be good later on if it wakes more people up.
That's how awful this is. We're
I
not
know.
looking at a candidate that can turn things around for us. We're looking for the candidate that can be the final linchpin in breaking the fucking system. But not in the way that Trump and Trump supporters want to break the system, because they want to break it and turn it into a theocratic fucking nightmare. I'm looking for something very fucking different here. And I'm going to be, I don't know. I got nothing, man. this is so fucking awful.
It is. It's frustrating. You don't know what to do.
God.
I mean, I don't want to make things worse for women. I don't want to make things worse for labor. I don't want to, because that's what Trump will do. Hell, I work for state government now, new job. I don't know if I should say that, but our funding comes through the Department of Education, essentially. And Trump has said he's going to eliminate the Department of Education.
It's not going. The George Bush said that and campaigned on it. Every Republican since fucking Ronald Reagan has claimed they're going to do that. Nobody's done it.
Yeah.
That's I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't. Yeah, but I mean, getting Trump. And I see the point that if I don't vote for Biden, it makes it more likely Trump's going to win. But that's not how voting fucking works. Not voting for Biden isn't the same as voting for Trump. It's just not.
Well, go back to the Ross Perot thing, because that's where that whole mantra of voting third party got the bad guy in office started from, was from Ross Perot. But then I look at, okay, so that was something of a little revolution to try to break the two-party system, the whole existence of Ross Perot. But what really resulted from that? There was no examination of the Electoral College, which would have to be examined by Congress and changed by Congress. Nothing like that happened. The thing that came from it was the idea that, oh my God, you denied the birthright of one of the two ordained individuals because you voted for somebody that wasn't part of those teams. That's what came from that. It didn't get us what we wanted. I don't think it was really about getting Ross Perot as president, which maybe that's what some of us wanted, but it was about decrying the incestuous nature of this two-party cabal that has disenfranchised the majority of Americans for generations. But that we didn't get that. We got the finger pointing of, you are fucked.
And that was in 1992, right?
Yeah.
And nobody's approached that as a third party candidate. I mean, there's third and fourth and fifth party candidates every election. None of them have come anywhere near what Ross Perot got in popularity, and why?
Well,
Ross Perot had money. That's probably why.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
That's probably how he got his popularity, because he had money.
Yeah.
And he self-funded his campaign, and he was on the TV all the time, and he was in the debate. He was in debates and everything.
Yeah. And now they won't even. There's not going to be debates. Debates are over. There isn't going to be a debate this year.
The Kamala might debate whoever Tim Scott or whoever
God.
Trump eventually picks. There might be a vice president debate, but you're right. I don't see Biden and Trump debating.
Yeah, we're in strange fucking times, man. I'm glad I've lived long enough to see this, because holy shit.
You know what else? There was another article I read about the DNC. They're worried about protests at their convention. Yeah, you should. You should be worried about that.
Yeah, there should be. When was it, in the 60s? The Abby Hoffman, and when they shut down the Democratic convention. Remember, there was a song written about it.
I don't remember. Maybe Hillary's right. I don't know my history.
But they basically tried to shut down the Democratic convention. This is what should be happening.
Was that about
that was about George McGovern and the whole communist witch hunt thing,
the civil rights movement thing? Yeah.
I don't know. Say it.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something to lighten the mood for the end. I always like to. And by the way, all this laughing I do, that's just a coping mechanism. I'm depressed as fuck about the situation our country's in at the moment. But
did you see Northern Lights up in your part of the world last night?
Yeah, so no, kinda. I looked north and there was like a glow way off in Canada across the lake. So when I see videos of the Northern Lights, they're like green and they dance. There was like just a purple glow way off in the distance. It wasn't that exciting. It looked like a sunrise or a sunset, when it's like purple at the beginning.
Yeah.
Kind of looked like that, but it was late at night.
I saw them I looked last night because they were supposed to be visible as far south as Alabama, and we're right on the border with Alabama, and it was too cloudy. I couldn't see shit. But I did, from living in Wisconsin, I lived in Southwest Wisconsin, and in 1983, I saw the fucking Northern Lights just like you describe, as being this vivid thing. And the funny thing is that we were on our way back from an April Wine and Eddie Money concert in Madison, and we were all fucked up. And we stopped by the side of the road out in the country to take a piss. It was like me and 5 other guys. and the fucking northern lights, and I wasn't hallucinating this shit either. It was real. The northern lights were fucking going off above us, and yeah, it was quite the fucking thing. It's
Yeah, I definitely want to see that. So I don't know, a trip sometime to the Arctic Circle might be, if I can. I don't know how you even get there, but if I could ever
just get a
afford to get
ticket.
to
Yeah,
northern Canada or something,
get a ticket
I would
to
probably do that.
get a ticket to Anchorage and take a puddle jumper up to Barrow, Alaska, and that's going to put you right on the edge of the Arctic Circle, and you'll see them there. As long as you can deal with the smell of penguin shit and
What is I don't know what penguin shit smells like.
it's apparently pretty awful from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like ammonia.
I want to one other thing I want to mention. I'm sure you've heard of this. I mean, I've heard of this for years. The when the pizza places around the Pentagon start get an
Yeah.
uptick, it means something's happening. So I guess there was an uptick on Thursday and Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and people are like, "Oh, so what's happening?" I honestly think it was about the coronal mass ejections, because they were just worried that they were going to lose satellites and stuff. I really think that's what that was. I don't think it's anything more than that. That's my theory anyway. Because stuff like large outbursts from the sun can affect satellites and all that stuff, and the military depends heavily on satellites, so I think they were just all hands on deck just in case something goes wrong with the satellites and one of our adversaries uses it as a opportunity. I think that's what that was.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
But you go on TikTok, people would be like, "Oh, we're gonna start World War III now." I don't know, probably not.
Yeah.
What are we gonna talk about next week? What do you think? There'll be
Um,
more trial stuff.
yeah, something's going to blow up in the Trump trial for sure. He's going to violate the gag order, and the judge is going to be tested on his resolve to do something with this. But what's going to be done, I don't know. I see. Here's the thing, too, is that you were talking about the reason why he's backing off of all this is because of the logistics of doing this. I don't think that he's betrothed to any of these supposed logistics. He can simply say, "You're going in a fucking holding cell in the county jail," and that's all that's happening. Nothing prevents him from doing that. I don't know who's going to intervene and try to stop him from doing that.
I mean, he could do other things too. He can put them on house arrest and just make them stay in Trump Tower and not go to rallies and stuff.
But the thing is that he doesn't have to do anything different than he would do for anybody else. Trump is just another fucking human being who's committed a crime that is on trial. This judge is not betrothed to follow some weird new precedent because of some job that this fuck used to have and do something special for him. I think there's a lot of people talking about that to try to distract from or to try to justify it's their whole thing is that, oh no, my guy's untouchable, and then they look at that as like it's some kind of endorsement to them, like they're untouchable too because they love him. You fucking
Yeah.
lunatics.
I mean, we all want equal justice for all. We want the court system to treat everybody the same, but it doesn't. It never has.
But it at least needs to pretend like it is designed for that. And this is an opportunity for great theater to be happening. Because even if he did this, even if the judge threw his ass for the next gag order violation in the fucking county jail, in fucking or state jail, whatever the fuck they have in New York, it would only be theater. Because the rest of what's already happened is proof that there is no equal justice under the law. So this is an opportunity for the justice system to be highly performative, because that's all it amounts to is performative, because the real underpinnings of it don't provide equal justice under the law. So why not be performative? Just fucking run with it. I don't fucking know. I want to cry.
I mean, the judge that jails the former president for violating a gag order will be famous forever.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. There you go. Oh fuck yeah.
He'll be in the history books.
I kept seeing a headline, but I haven't clicked on it over the last 48 hours. Is Engeron, the guy who did the civil trial, Something about handed Trump a win. What did Engeron do? Do you know anything about this?
No, I don't.
Hang on. Oh God. Hold on.
Maybe he accepted the bond payment or something. You know what? We should do an episode where we pretend we're historians, like 100 years in the future.
Okay.
And just, and just be like, what the fuck were those people back in 2024 thinking?
Yeah, that would be pretty valid. I don't know. I can't find it anymore. Maybe it was just clickbait.
I know we've probably talked about this before, but can you believe a generation ago the Republican Party was so mad that their president had illegally wiretapped some stuff?
Oh, Nixon?
That they forced him to resign. They were appalled that he committed crimes. His crimes compared to Trump's were extremely minor.
Yeah, it was like nothing.
And the Republican Party was outraged by it. That was just one generation ago.
Yeah.
And now, what the fuck? It is insane. It really
is. When you look at the progression of that, or the descent into what we've descended into from that as the reference point, the fucking
it's so crazy. I don't even know what to say. Just like every time when you see people defending Trump, you see people defending Biden today, even. It's similar.
Yeah.
Like, really? This is really okay? This is all okay? I don't know. Is everything still too expensive for you where you live? It is where I live.
Well, yeah. And I on that note, there was a story that came out yesterday that I saw that, do you have Aldi up where you are?
Yeah.
Don't call it Aldi's. It's not Aldi's. There's no fucking S on it. It's Aldi. Okay.
Okay.
Don't fuck this up. That Aldi made an announcement that they are slashing prices on like something like 700 different staple food items. And that's fantastic. I love that. But people were justifiably suspicious of this because it's a PR thing for Aldi. Sure it is. Of course it's a PR thing.
Yeah,
but I don't give a fuck.
I mean, I shop at Aldi sometimes. It is cheaper than everywhere else.
Yeah, and apparently it's going to be even less expensive now than it was. But yeah, Aldi is going to get good press off of this. I don't give a fuck. I want my chicken to be 70 cents a pound less than what it was a week ago. That's fine. Mm-hmm. So let's just let them do this. And the other problem is that in terms of the boycotts, like the Kellogg's boycott, there's a lot of like breakfast cereals at Aldi that have these weird names. They're owned by fucking Kellogg's.
Yeah, probably.
It's almost impossible. You need to start making your own fucking breakfast cereal if you really want to get into the boycott. You need to grow your own corn, mill it, and make it into little flakes and call it.
I've become, and I saw a TikTok that made me laugh when I saw this, but I've become an ingredient house. I don't have a lot of canned stuff, frozen stuff, pre-made stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lose a ton of weight because I have to work a lot harder for my meals now. I have ground beef, I have chicken, I have a spice rack, I have rice, I have pasta.
Yep.
I have potatoes, and I have fruits and vegetables. I have to make everything I eat now. Mm-hmm. That's what I've been trying to do. The only thing I buy that's packaged is bread. I do buy bread. I'm not about to buy a bread maker and become a baker, but I buy bread. I buy sliced turkey and stuff too for my work lunches because I'm not going to be a chef at work.
Yeah, you can't. It's hard to go 100% in that direction. You're going the majority of.
But I don't have cereal anymore. I used to eat cereal a lot. I don't have cereal. I stopped buying snacks like Cheez-Its and stuff. I love Cheez-Its. Don't buy them anymore. There are no ethical corporations in America anymore. There just isn't, period. It doesn't matter that Kellogg's happens to be the one where their CEO put his foot in his mouth. None of them are ethical. So it does. You can boycott them all if you can. If you can, I don't want to tell people it's more expensive to, buy everything. I mean, packaged stuff, highly processed food is cheap a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I don't want people that can't afford, to boycott Kellogg's, for example, to feel guilty. You shouldn't. If you
Yeah.
have to, live within your means. If you have to, by all means, do it. Okay. But if you can afford to and you're willing to, stop buying pre-made food if you can. Just, I've been doing it the past month or two, and it sucks. I've lost 11 pounds. It sucks. Sometimes I don't even want to eat dinner because I'm fucking too tired to fucking cook something.
Yep.
And I'll just get like the peanut butter out and have a scoop of peanut butter or something because I don't want to fire up the stove and do everything. But I did start making stuff ahead of time and freezing stuff too. So I have like chili and stuff frozen that's already made.
Yep.
That's another thing you can do. So I'm trying. So I'm an ingredient house now as opposed to a ready-made food house. So I have to cook. I have to cook all the time now.
Well, yeah, and I follow, and I have for a while, a bunch of people who are sort of self-sustainers that are growing their own vegetables and stuff like this, and homesteaders and things like that. And that's I they want everybody to be able to do this, like community gardens and feed your neighborhood and so forth and so on. But there is always going to be millions upon millions of people for whom that is an absolute impossibility. And
Yeah.
that's capitalism working by design.
Yes, and if you can't participate in the boycotts and you can't grow your own food and do all that stuff, don't feel guilty. It's okay. It's not your fault. It is capitalism doing that to you. We get it.
Yeah. And that's part of what should fuel the rest of us to push harder to break this system, because it is that system that is keeping those people in a position where these things are not options for them, that they are imprisoned in this capitalist fucking hellscape that prevents them from exercising freer choices to be less dependent on that system. This should be motivating us to burn the motherfucker down.
And this time, these two shitweasels completely lost sight of doing a segue into a proper sense of closure. Rank fucking amateurs, I swear.